Welcome to 0 to 60 Motoring. Once again, my name is Bill, and in today's episode we're going to analyze this 2016 Lexus NX200T, the F-Sport trim level. So it packs more features than the normal Lexus NX series. Remember, 0 to 60 Motoring is that channel that is going to guarantee you unbiased car advice and reviews. So if you are new to 0 to 60 Motoring, we normally do car videos like this, car maintenance tips, and most importantly, we help clients get clean cars in the Kenyan market by sourcing them from reputable dealers. Alright, here we go. 2016 Lexus NX200T review. Let's start with the basics, actually, a brief history. The Lexus NX actually started production back in 2014 and 2015. That's why most NX units started streaming into the Kenyan market properly in the year 2021 last year, and this 2023, considering our 7-year-old rule when it comes to importation. Now this actually is a smaller car than the traditional Lexus RX series which we are used to, and it is actually, let me say, the price tag of this car is not cheap, because you are looking at around 5.5 million shillings. Now looking at the price tag, the cars that will come into your mind when you're looking at the price include the Mercedes-Benz GLC. You can look at something like the Range Rover Evoque. You can look at something like the Audi Q5 or even the Porsche Macan. Let's find, why does this car carry such a hefty price tag? So Lexus is actually a luxury version of Toyota, just like Infinitis to Nissan. That is how Lexus relates to Toyota. Exterior design of this Lexus NX200. This car actually is built on a similar platform as the Toyota RAV4. While this car shares a similar platform with the Toyota RAV4, it's actually way different. It's actually miles ahead of the Toyota RAV4, if you can also judge it from the price tag. You have these sharp and slashing headlamps here. You have these vents here which actually give this car, let me say, some good look. The grille here also looks pretty big, which gives this car some imposing looks. So when you're parking this NX somewhere, even it's going actually to stand out of the crowd. Now coming to the side profile of this Lexus NX200T, you realize that it has this sloping roof to the rear side, which of course means it is going to eat into the practicality of this car matters, the headroom on the rear seats and the boot space. But that is what gives this car, let me say, a distinctive look. This is actually an F-Sport variant, and that's why you will be finding it coming with these F-Sport badges. The rear side of this Lexus NX200T is actually, let me say, expressive. You have these slim tail lights here, you have this Lexus badge here, and then you have this NX200T, of course. You have the parking sensors down here. When I'm looking at this car, let me say, it's a compact crossover. It's not as big as the traditional RX series, but there are people who like it small. Maybe they don't like bigger cars, but it's not the most beautiful car out there, let me use that term, because when you're looking at this car versus something like a Mercedes-Benz GLC, most people, I'm pretty sure, they're going to prefer the GLC. Welcome to the cockpit of this 2016 Lexus NX200T, and immediately you step up into this cabin, you'll actually be amazed on how it looks like. It may not be as class leading as something like a Mercedes-Benz GLC, but for a Japanese crossover, you got to appreciate the quality in this car. It actually comes with these bucket seats, which are actually have these black and red let me say, crafting, which actually they look pretty good. They are actually also electronically adjusted, which is something, of course, you expect for a car in this class. When you're looking at the execution of this dashboard, it actually looks pretty good. You also have this analog clock system, which actually gives this car some classy detail. The seats for this car, of course, have heated and cooled functions, of course, for your back side. On this center console here, you have 3 driving modes. You have Eco mode, Normal mode, and Sports mode. Of course, this car also comes with an electronic parking brake. You have 2 cup holders here, and then Funny enough, it also comes with this mirror so that you can adjust your makeup properly when you are going for a date. Another cool feature with this Lexus NX200T is that it also comes with this sunroof also, which helps let me say lighting. It makes this cabin lively. Accommodation wise, you have these two cup holders here, and then in this compartment you have two USB ports, an auxiliary port, and the space here can actually carry some of your stuff. So when I'm looking at the execution of this cabin, it may not be class leading, but for a Japanese crossover, it's something that is pretty good. On the steering wheel, you also have these plus and minus paddle shifters here. Of course, this car is a 6-speed automatic, has a 6-speed automatic transmission, but at times, especially when you are in sports mode, you may want to spice things up. You may want to mimic a manual transmission. That way, you can shift the car into manual mode, and then you are going to flick, you play around with the 6 gears using these paddle shifters. Other extra features in this car include collision mitigation system, lane departure warning, something like actually the steering wheel even for this car is heated, something I really like. And another cool feature I've liked with this steering wheel, it also have this F-Sport badge here, of course, to tell you that this is not a normal Lexus NX200T. So when I'm looking at the execution of this dashboard, it may not be class leading, but you can be sure it is not as boring as an equivalent Toyota, because Lexus is a luxury version of Toyota, so it has to stand out from something like a Toyota RAV4. Is the Lexus NX200T accommodative? This is actually, let me say, one of the smallest cars in its segment, and what that means, it's actually cramped up, matter space. You can see for someone like me who is average, I don't have, let me say, a good amount of headroom. So that means for someone tall, most probably they are going to struggle. But good thing, this car comes with electronically adjusted seats. You can easily actually find your driving position, and the amount of knee room, it's actually pretty good. For example, when this seat is stretched backwards to the farthest, you can see that I will be having a good amount of knee room, meaning a tall driver will not struggle whatsoever. How about the second row seats? Accommodation wise, in this second row seat, you can see actually the amount of headroom also is not that good, because this car is actually, let me say, crammed up, but the amount of knee room is actually pretty average. And good thing for this seat, it has this reclining function, so you can easily actually sleep comfortably in this backside. The only problem I find with this car is that this pillar here actually hampers or hinders, let me say, visibility in this second row seat. That is why when you're purchasing this car, if you want some light in the car, it's good having this sunroof actually. Let's see how the boot space for this Lexus NX200T looks like. Actually, the trunk for this, the tailgate for this Lexus NX is actually a powered one, so you just press it that way and it will actually open up. The only problem with this electronic function is that it's very slow, so if you are in a hurry, it may actually irritate you. Now, this is the amount of room you have for this Lexus NX200T. Of course, it's smaller than what the BMW X3 has, but good thing with this one, because it's not a hybrid variant, you actually have some good space down here. So for those who will be going for the hybrid flavor, you will be finding that they have batteries down here, meaning practicality for the Lexus NX300H is on the lower side compared to this one when it comes to the boot space. Of course, this boot space is not class leading, or it's actually smaller compared to the rivals, but it can actually carry your luggage pretty easy. If you want something more spacious, I'll say that it's good looking at something like a BMW X3. It's more spacious than this one. When you're looking at the engine options for this 2016 Lexus NX200T, this one actually is a 2000cc direct injection turbo engine. It's actually a 4-cylinder, and it spills out around 235 brake horsepower. Now that power is channeled to all the 4 wheels via a 6-speed automatic transmission. Now, that engine is specifically for the NX200T. It's actually the same engine you're going to find in some versions of the Toyota Harrier. Like from, I guess, year 2017 going forward, there is a Harrier with a 2-liter turbo petrol. Now, If you don't, maybe you'll be worried about the fuel economy of this Lexus NX200T. There is an option of going for a hybrid flavor. The hybrid flavor actually displaces 2.5 liters with some electric battery setup, and in that case it's going to be called something like the Lexus NX300H. But the difference between this one and the hybrid flavor, apart from the powertrain, is that this one has a 6-speed automatic transmission, and the hybrid variant actually has a CVT gearbox. Apart from the gearbox in this one being a conventional automatic and the hybrid being a CVT, it's also worth noting that when you're going for this NX200T, you actually get better grunt, because this one is a 235 brake horsepower, and the combined output of the 2.5 liter and the electric batteries in the hybrid variant is around 190 to 195 horsepower or thereabouts. So it's a good knowing that while this one may be a little bit faster, it's also more powerful than the hybrid variant. Now that you've known the engine options, it's also good mentioning something about fuel economy. Now, fuel economy for this Lexus NX200T with this 2-liter turbocharged petrol engine will be in the region of 11 to 12 kilometers per liter. But the hybrid variant actually can get you good fuel figures, and it's a selling point. For that 300H, you can actually get something like 13-14 kilometers per liter. Of course, when you push it, let me say gently. When you try to do something that is rally inspired, or let me say if you are a speed junkie, most probably you may not get good fuel economy. The reason that could be propelling you to the Lexus NX series and not a BMW X3 or even other German cars is because the strongest selling point of the Lexus over decades has been reliability. When you're looking at the reliability index of the Lexus NX series versus the competition, you realize that they are miles apart. This car actually sits almost, let me say, top of the league when it comes to reliability in the crossover segment. I'm not saying that the other options are not reliable, but you can never go wrong with the Lexus NX series compared to the peers. So, should you buy this 2016 Lexus NX200T? If it is me, actually I'm a bigger BMW fan, but the only reason I'm going to consider this car ahead of something like a BMW X3 is because of its, let me say, decent and classy leading reliability. But if you want something that drives better, I'm going to put my coin on a BMW X3. If you want something that has a, let me say, a good interior and imposing looks, a Mercedes-Benz GLC will be better value for money. But nothing in that class actually comes close to the Lexus NX when it comes to reliability, and that is the selling point of this car. Actually, if you are worried about the fuel economy of this car, the Lexus NX300H will be a better bet for you. It carries the same level of reliability, but most importantly, it gives you decent fuel economy. So, who should buy this Lexus NX200T? This is actually a good car for someone who wants something more reliable, or something reliable, because the reliability of this car is way ahead of the Range Rover Evoque, the BMW X3, the Audi Q5, the Porsche Macan, and the Mercedes-Benz GLC. The only downside is that this car may not look that decent, especially in the interior, compared to the GLC and the Range Rover Evoque. And it actually may not be, the Lexus badge, of course, it's a luxury car, but it may not carry that big class or something like a Range Rover, the Audi, or even the Mercedes-Benz. But for someone who wants reliability and fuel economy, especially for the hybrid flavor, this car actually will hit your sweet spot. I guess you now know more about this 2016 Lexus NX200T. If you have any other question regarding this car, or it's a hybrid sibling, that is the 300H, you can actually drop your questions on the 0 to 6 motoring, and we'll address them in the shortest time possible. Alright guys, I'll see you on the next one.